focus on your relationship with you, because the longest relationship you're going to have in this life experience is with yourself. So allow it to be a loving one.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Andrea Hill. Previously, episode 805 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 3 years, 2 months, 17 hours, 30 minutes since we last recorded that conversation. That was then, this is now. Andrea, how are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. Wow, that's very exact.
Yeah, it's important to be exact, I've found. Wow. Does it feel that way to you, though? Like 3 years has passed by.
Well, I was thinking about that earlier this week and thought, yeah, that sounds about right. So, yeah, lots has changed since then.
Yeah, let's dig into that. Now, when we spoke, all right, you were the love warrior, right? You were doing dating and relationship coaching. I think what was really intriguing was the dinner party, right? That you would have where you interviewed people and then you put them together, 8 to 12 people in a room, and you facilitated the conversations in that. How have things evolved for you today?
Well, the dinner party is no longer. I retired it at the end of 2018, just because what I've come to discover through the many years of being immersed in the industry and then having my own service is that really where I want to put my energy and that I think people need the most support is in their own relationship with self so that they can have a really beautiful relationship with another individual. So services are wonderful, but if you haven't done your own work or just going to be another area where you struggle or become frustrated. And I didn't want to be providing something that was an extension of that. I wanted to be doing more good and helping people create really powerful shifts.
Now that started with you, I'm guessing, right? Looking within yourself, because most of the times that's how it happens, yeah? Now, is that accurate?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Tell us more, please.
Oh, yeah. It always starts with the saying, it's the student that becomes the teacher, of course. And, it was a very humbling experience because I've researched and interviewed and done my own training and still didn't really have the reflection of a healthy relationship within my own life. And it actually took someone else challenging me in my rationalization as to why I didn't have one that had me taking a really honest look at what was getting in my own way. And it was through that work that I was able to liberate myself of some things that I wasn't even really conscious of that were keeping me cut off from what it was that, if I was being honest, I really wanted, which I think is the case for most people. Like, work's really great and I've got good friends. A relationship would be nice, but I'm good. But I think if you really got to the heart of it, most people want to share their life with someone in a really meaningful way.
Seems to always be a trade, right? I immediately think, all right, if I want to swim, I have to get into the water. If I have to get into the water, it means I'm going to be wet. Same as with relationships, right? There is always a trade-off that occurs, isn't there?
Yes, of course.
So you've now entered into a relationship, it would seem. It's sounding, or even you're entertaining the idea. How are you having conversations? Or has that now helped you have conversations with those individuals who are justifying the, no, I don't want to, or no, I've been hurt? Is that helping you?
Oh, absolutely. Because I had to dig through my own muck to really see what was at the core of where my challenges were, and that I was remaining attached and hanging on to the hurt as a means of keeping me separated. It's this very interesting push-pull. So you want something, but then you're not really willing to take the risk because you've got this attachment to your past or to hurt or to a story. And it's being willing to actually look at that and work your way through it and almost reclaim your power in a sense, because you've been giving it away to the story, to the hurt.
To the voice. There's a voice, isn't there?
Of course. Absolutely. And yes, I've been able to do the work and continue to do the work, by the way. A relationship isn't like this, thing that you accomplish and then you dust your hands off and everything is well in the world. It's an ongoing gig. Your relationship with yourself is an ongoing gig. So, yes, I have a very loving and rewarding relationship in my life that I'm very grateful for. And we both continue to do our work to be in that loving, rewarding relationship.
That's very important. I'm glad to hear that. And I love the fact that you're sharing that, because I've found that those that are able to be vulnerable in the midst of things become even stronger while sharing scenarios that could look like, I don't have it all together. But the truth is, in humanity, it's actually a wave, right? There's sometimes the up times, the hills, and sometimes the valleys. But it's the thing that makes life, isn't it?
It certainly is. And I'm a big believer that it's actually the challenges that help us expand and grow and become wiser and sharpen our tools in our toolkit. It's wonderful to be in the highs. And I think it's because of the lows that allow you to enjoy them that much more.
Now, there was a book, right, that you had a plan for. Tell me, what happened with that? Did you go through it?
It's still on the back burner. I have like the layout of it. And I think there's probably a couple of more books in there, but no, it hasn't come to fruition yet.
I love the idea of you sharing stories of the interviewees that you had conversations with who were interested in this dinner party. I'm just putting that out there, right? Just how everyone can share, like how they want to have something there's like a preview then that really dampens the effect of the next step. And you've done that. You've had that experience in your life where you preparing for others was that as well for yourself. I'm just saying, I'm just intrigued by that, right? If you decided to do that. That being said, there's a conversation that's rather challenging for us. That conversation of the possibility of death. Mm-hmm. Be it you could die today or tomorrow. How do you plan your day? Is that something that's in the background of your mind, or is it in the forefront of your mind?
I think it's more being in alignment with the belief system of being a full expression of myself every day. And I've become increasingly more comfortable and actually what I call a little bit of an ambulance chaser of discomfort, because I know there's so much gold in there. And that can be in part with a relationship with death. I don't know that it's at the forefront by any stretch, because that would make your days fairly heavy, but it is a loving reminder to really step fully forward and live your life kind of to its fullest, because we never know what's going to happen every day. But I also think you don't want to live with the idea that you need to be in preparation for it. I think you need to live in the honoring of the life that you have right now.
Given the experiences you've had, for those that are listening, the introverts that may have challenges with relationships, what's the one first step you can tell them they should take? The introduction, right? Even if you want to break it up into smaller steps, part A, part B, what would you say to them?
Well, anyone that's feeling challenged in either dating or having a relationship, it really begins with you. So what I recommend to anyone that's beginning their journey of self-reflection is to become a loving observer of yourself. So to become more aware of how you go about your day, the thoughts that fill your mind, your attitudes and ideas perhaps around a romantic relationship, your feelings about yourself. And then you start to get this tapestry that unfolds of what your foundation of the relationship is with yourself. And it's through the unraveling of that and weaving it in a conscious manner that is a beautiful reflection of you as opposed to a disowning of you, that the relationship will show up. We need to look within, not without. Everything outside of us will end up being a beautiful reflection of us. And I've seen it time and time again. I've experienced it firsthand. And what I love about it is that you don't have to go out and do anything. It's about actually developing a deeper sense of intimacy with yourself and understanding your fears, your gifts, and the beliefs that have woven through your life, and then aligning yourself with the ones that actually support you. And then everything outside of you will arise. My own partnership, I never could have planned, sought out, or connected with him in the way that I did. I fully believe that he arose in my experience, and we met each other because of the work that I did and the work that he's done as well.
How much of that is mixed in with the necessity of forgiveness and grace for yourself?
Oh, it's everything. Forgiveness for yourself, forgiveness towards others that you feel have diminished you or harmed you in some way. I mean, forgiveness really at the root of it is your key to liberating yourself. It's a way to provide freedom in your life, because when we're not forgiving, we're hanging on to, we're attaching ourselves to things that keep us small, limited. And so when you can let those things go, which is a process, forgiveness is an ongoing process. Each time you do it, you will get more free, more clear, more liberated.
Andrea, it's such a grand opportunity to hear that you've not given up on what you've set out to accomplish. Of course, it has evolved, but more so, you've seen how valuable it is to focus on yourself and how that then helps others. I believe that's a service to humanity, and I thank you for it. I thank you for the inspiration and motivation that comes from it. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me on. And I guess what I would love to leave with everyone is to really be kind and gentle with yourself, and really to focus on your relationship with you, because the longest relationship you're going to have in this life experience is with yourself. So allow it to be a loving one.
Andrea Hill, folks, again, thank you, my friend, for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.